Hi there, my name is Vic Veer. I'm the head of the ENT Sleep Surgery Department at the Royal National ENT Hospital in central London. And yesterday, in a sister hospital of mine at Queen's Hospital in Romford, I performed the first Genio implant for obstructive sleep apnea, where the patient was allowed home the same day. So, just in case you don't know what the Genio chip is, this is the chip here. It's an implant, it's a soft, sort of springy thing. And what this is that it goes underneath your chin here. So you make a little cut here and it gets put underneath there and it sits on top of the muscles that go to your tongue. In fact, it doesn't really sit on the muscles, it sits on the nerves that go to those muscles. Now, that's really important because this nerve, the hypoglossal nerve, what it does is that it stimulates the nerve just when you need it at night when you're breathing. So people with obstructive sleep apnea and loud snoring, what happens is their tongue can sometimes fall back and block off their breathing like this, and they can't breathe. And this chip excites the nerves to the tongue and brings the tongue forward out of the way. So it would look like if your teeth were here, your tongue's coming down like this. If your tongue is falling back and blocking your breathing, what it's doing is it's stimulating those nerves to pull the tongue out of the way so you can breathe behind it again. And that helps with obstructive sleep apnea and snoring because you're not getting the turbulent air flicking around the back of the tongue, causing your palate to flap around, making that snoring noise that we all know about. Also, you're bringing the tongue forward so you don't get a blockage of breathing and you start going blue and having sleep apnea problems. That wakes you up and makes you tired during the day. So as I was saying yesterday, myself and my friends Amra Hassan, Mohammed Rashwan, and also a surgeon that came across from Switzerland just to make sure that I do it as well as I possibly could. We all got together. I did this operation where we put this chip underneath the chin like this. It all went really well, so much so that she was in limited pain and was doing very well after the operation. She was allowed home the same day. She felt much better. She didn't really want to stay in hospital, but it happened to be the first time ever someone was so well after an operation that they were allowed home. To be honest, I didn't expect her to go home the same day. She was only allowed to take paracetamol after this operation. And after she'd had her x-rays, she was allowed home the same day. And what we're doing now is just waiting. We're not doing anything. It's just sitting there. It's slowly, as it were, bedding in, healing in that area before we decide to actually activate it, to turn on the machine at all. And after about 6 weeks to 8 weeks' time, we'll see how she is. If the swelling's all gone down and she feels fine, we can activate the implant. And what that'll do is that with an app on her phone, she can turn it on or off at night when she's going to sleep. And very gently, it'll move the tongue forward. The interesting thing is I could stimulate this during the operation, so I could see the tongue move forward while she's asleep. So I could, on command, turn the tongue to come forward or fall back again. So it's quite exciting to see. And it was a symmetrical movement forwards. If you know the Inspire device, it's a slight twist to one side. They both work very well, the Inspire implant and the Genio implant. The Inspire and Genio implants reduce the AHI or the severity of your sleep apnea by AHI is reduced by about 70 to 80% in both implants. And I have videos, I'll probably put 2 videos up here for you, which show the Inspire and the Genio implants, and I talk about each. And then what I'll do is I'll show you the other video just about here, which compares the two together if you want to look at those videos. Now, the main benefit of the Genio device over other types of implants is that it can be used for any type of obstructive sleep apnea. You don't need a drug-induced sleep endoscopy. Now, you know that in this channel, if you've been following this channel, you'll know that I love drug-induced sleep endoscopy. I like it when people come in. I watch them sleep in front of me. So I give them a touch of sedation. They start snoring away and getting sleep apnea in front of me on the hospital bed. And I can see with a telescope up their nose where the problem is. Oh, your tongue is falling back, or your lateral walls are collapsing in, or your epiglottis is flapping back, all those things. And so I'll look at all those things and go, this is your diagnosis. This is why you have obstructive sleep apnea. But in this situation with this chip, because it works officially on all different types of obstructive sleep apnea, so you can use it effectively for anyone. You don't need a drug-induced sleep endoscopy for it. I still quite like doing a drug-induced sleep endoscopy because I feel like I should make a diagnosis before I operate on people. But there are increasingly more people coming up to me and saying, you know that Genio implant where you don't have to go through all these other steps? I just want one of these so my sleep apnea goes away by 70, 80%. Um, and that's great. If that's what they want and they understand, my feelings that you should find out what's going on. But if in the end they said, well, I don't want an Inspire, I only want the Genio, then I think to myself, well, the guidelines say you can, so you might as well. And I think that's really important for the rest of the country. Drug-induced sleep endoscopy is difficult. It's a new skill and it's quite hard to interpret it. Even though I've made a classification system, another video I'll put just here so you can see my classification system, which is quite complicated, but much easier than all the other classification systems. It's meant to be for the new person starting up sleep surgery. And hopefully we can get this available for all people to look at so they can understand how to classify their drug-induced sleep endoscopy better. I would say, however, that if you have big tonsils, then this implant or any other implant is probably not a good idea. It's probably best to get rid of the tonsils first. So, I mean, that's a part of the NICE guidelines. The NICE guidelines say if you have big tonsils or a really blocked up nose, you should have those treated first. And then if you still got problems, then you should have consider CPAP or a mandibular advancement device. I've got a video coming out about mandibular advancement devices where I've got one given to me, but that's a sidetrack. I'll leave that alone. Back to the Genio implant. So yeah, you don't need a drug-induced sleep endoscopy. You can just have it if that's what you want. It's free on the NHS if you're a member of England. I'm not sure if the Scottish have started it, but I know some of my friends in the northeast because I trained up in the Middlesbrough, Newcastle, Sunderland, Darlington area. They're all looking at setting up this thing, and I'm really glad to go and see my old friends up there as well. So all these places around the country, I think Manchester started up. I believe Liverpool might be starting up soon. The Royal National ENT and Queen's Hospital, where I work at, we're obviously doing loads of them now. So yeah, it's looking really great for English sleep apnea sufferers because we've got one of these things for us. We've got the Inspire device, we've got the Genio implant. These are things to try and avoid operating on the tongue. The other operation that many people do for a tongue-based obstruction is a MMA operation where you sort of break the jaw and the maxilla and bring the whole face forward slightly to make more room at the back of the tongue. I mean, officially, looking at the data, these implants seem to work better than the MMA operation. But in certain situations, MMA may be better in your case. So there's all sorts of little things about that. So as I said before, if you want more information about these implants, they're all about here. And I'll put those videos up again. And also, I believe Kath Hope from the Hope2Sleep charities asked me to do a webinar to all the people in her forum. So if you go to, I think it's a Facebook group, Kath Hope, the Hope2Sleep charity, has a really amazing Facebook group. So if you go there and get more information, not about implants, but mostly about CPAP and other things you can do to help you with your obstructive sleep apnea. I think it's a really lovely community. I really, if you've got obstructive sleep apnea and you sort of feel alone in this situation, go to that forum, ask to join. It's really, really nice. And I think I'm doing a webinar for them hopefully soon. I'll just wait to see what Kath Hope says about that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. Do take care. Bye-bye.